right. How are we today? It's Tuesday. I have to check. How is everybody today on a Tuesday? Welcome to the program. Good morning. Good to have you with us today. And what is weird stuff happening? All right, perfect. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the program. There's everybody popping in. Yeah. All right. Wow. It gets weirder with the Biden administration every day. And we'll talk about that. We got some other stuff happening, too, as around the area. And your phone calls and your comments. Yeah. Oh, the thunderstorms are wild this morning. Yeah. Love it. Good to have you with us today. Hey, my name is Nick Stewart. This is Sunrise Santa Rosa. Welcome to the program. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Milton Post for hosting and all the various sundry other pages that they're sharing. God bless you. And make sure you share it as well. Forecast for today. Yeah, you got the rain. Thunderstorms during the morning, giving way to cloudy skies this afternoon, high near 69. Chance of rain, 80%. We probably already got that. Tonight, cloudy, occasional showers overnight. Areas of dense fog developing, low near 59. The chance of rain, 50%. And then for your mañana, thunderstorms likely in the morning, then a chance of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, high near 71. Chance of rain tomorrow, 70%. Presently, it's 54 in Milton, 58 Gulf Breeze, 58 Navarre, and 56 in Pensacola. There you go. That's how it is. All right, good morning, Gail. Good to have everybody with us today. And taking your phone calls, 850-771-0049. We do have some good news, I think. And we'll try to get to some of that to kind of help you out, Adam. I know, but there's so much important stuff that's bad news. It's craziness. All right. All right. There's a chili cook-off that's going to be happening. I love chili. Do you love chili? I'm a big chili fan. The chili cook-off. Oh, get out of the way so you can see it. It's going to be at Ollie's Neighborhood Grill on March 6th from 10 to 2. It's $50 per team. There's a car show. Chili and a car show. Holy smokes. You got to love it. And so check it out. $30 if you want to be a vendor. And yeah, it's good. It's a good thing. It all goes to the kids' house. Santa Rosa Kids' House. That's a good cause. And yeah, check that out. That ought to be a good time. I'm going to try to make it. Good news would be different. Yeah. And I don't make the news. I just deliver the news. Yeah, chili and a car show is good news. You got to love that kind of stuff. Jeeps too. Is it an old Jeep or is it new Jeeps? It's classic Jeeps. I'm a classic car fan. All right. What else is happening? The Escambia County Sheriff's Office. This is weird. The Escambia County Sheriff's Office. Did I have a picture of that? I thought I did. Let me see if I find that picture. Because not that it means anything, but it's just kind of interesting. They are doing. It's not there. So the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. Jeep Lives Matter. All cars matter. The Escambia County Sheriff's Office will be conducting high visibility enforcement details, HVEs. Why does everything have to have an acronym? During the period of January 13th through March 14th in various locations. The first one will be held on February 13th from 4 to 10 p.m. in the area of West Fairfield Drive between North P Street and West Park Place. HVE will allow our deputies to educate the public on driver, pedestrian, and bicycle safety. Now, in this area, there are many, especially in Pensacola, lots of folks hit by cars. Lots of pedestrians hit by cars, lots of bicyclists hit by cars. And so they're trying to educate people on safety. Accidents occur due to lack of proper lighting. I would say no. No. Yes, Justin, and acronyms are racist. And that's why they replaced that acronym with an acronym. But it's not the lighting. If you drive around, there are always people. And Pensacola is a pedestrian area. There's lots of pedestrians and bicyclists, lots of them. Why are you wearing black at night? If there's no lighting, there's lots of areas that have no lighting. So why are you walking in the street with dark clothes? That's why people get hit. That's why bicyclists get hit. Wear bright colored clothing. You don't wear black clothes in the middle of the night, in the middle of the street. Don't do it. Educate people on that. You want to have a campaign, stop handing out masks. I think we have more people dying from wearing dark clothes in the middle of the street than we do COVID. Hand out reflectors for their clothes. Something. Mercy. The goal of this enforcement is to increase awareness and compliance with traffic laws that protect the safety of pedestrians and bicyclists. Is it automobiles and people in cars, or is it the bicyclists and the pedestrians? Tell me. Wait, Put some brightly colored clothes on and get out of the street. Get out of the street. Reflector vests are the best. Exactly. I don't know how expensive they are. But man, I think a life is worth that. Stop wearing dark clothes in the street. In the dark. Maybe people wearing masks while driving that could be true. It happens to me. What else? On Tuesday, today, at the 5:30 meeting of the City Council, they'll be voting on a resolution in support of HB 123 constitutional carry. Representative Anthony Sabatini has submitted bills to remove the requirement of a permit to carry a firearm. Now, Shannon Rice had posted this on her Facebook page. As a county seat of a county that has proclaimed itself a Second Amendment sanctuary, it only makes sense that they would support the bill. Unfortunately, as of the last meeting, not all Milton City Council knows how strongly their constituents feel about this. They need to hear from you. You went to the effort of voting in to be a sanctuary county. You need to have the permit. You need to have the option to carry a weapon. So do it. Do it. Let your elected officials know how you feel. You could check out Shannon's page. You can look at, she's also posted on the Milton Post. Check it out. And that's tonight at 5:30. And I think it's important. It's important. Stop wearing masks while driving. Oh, and what about the morons who are wearing masks when they're in the car by themselves? Oh, I'm like, there's not a whole lot of hope for that gene pool. Dropped my kids off at skating ring Friday night, and a man was crossing the road and exactly almost hit him. It was hard to see him. I know they don't pay attention, Leanne. I don't get it. And they expect you. Whoa, you almost hit me. Well, tape a reflector to the side of your head, something, so we can see what's going on. On August 7th, 2020, Odom hit his girlfriend, Vicky Edge. Where's his picture? There you go. He hit his girlfriend in the head multiple times with a baseball bat before strangling her to death. He's now gotten life in prison. Law enforcement became involved the following day after Miss Edge's family members became concerned that they'd been unable to reach her. Law enforcement entered the defendant's residence and discovered Ms. Edge deceased inside the living room. The defendant later spoke with investigators and confessed to the murder. Days after the murder, according to the arrest report, Odom told investigators he promised Edge a wedding, but he was broke, so he felt that killing her was the only way out of the situation. Let me just say this. This is probably not a guy you want to help with problem solving. If that was his only way out of a wedding because he was broke, not a big problem solver. Good riddance. No, Elizabeth. When I get the glasses fog up with a mask. I don't wear a mask in the car. Life in prison. Yeah, I know. I don't think that's good enough punishment, but there you go. No problems, Donna. You need to stay later after class. Cases of coronavirus and exposure in Northwest Florida schools continue to grow. The state's latest report identifies all schools across Florida and their reported cases filling up 130 pages worth. When it comes to cases numbers, 7 out of the top 10 on that list are in Northwest Florida. Since September 6th, the most 156 reported cases coming from Crestview High School in Okaloosa County. 2 other Okaloosa County high schools also make the list. Niceville is ranking 5th with 127 cases, followed by Fort Walton Beach High School with 120 cases and ranking 7th. Santa Rosa has 4 high schools on the list. Gulf Breeze is in 3rd with 143 cases. Navarre High School is 4th with 132 cases. Milton and Pace come in 9th and 10th with 114 and 105 cases. Superintendent of Santa Rosa County Schools, Dr. Karen Barber, says in the high schools they've opened additional areas during lunch to promote social distancing. She says they've also created one-way traffic during class changes and added more than 200 air purifiers to schools in the second semester. Okay. Now, here is a question about the schools. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Fort Walton Beach represent. Mm-hmm. So here's where the problem lies. If you've evidently got a problem, and the schools do have a problem, there's COVID problem. There is the extreme inability to effectively use virtual classes. Why? And all over the nation, this is a problem. The public schools suck at virtual classes. Why? Why is it? Why is that? It works everywhere else. I mean, it works in colleges. They have online classes. It works for homeschoolers. Homeschoolers have streaming classes. Why is it that the public schools can't pull their head out of their backside and come up with a plan for virtual learning? Anybody? Anybody got a clue on that? Hire a consultant. Why doesn't the education, whatever, the unions, find a consultant and come up with a plan for virtual learning? We are a year into this thing. This should have happened in May. After the school year was over in May, June, that should have happened right away. We got to get this and have this on hand if we have to keep this going or it comes up again. Why? Have you heard that they are trying anything? Nope. Virtual learning doesn't work, they say. The students are failing because you don't have a plan. You don't have a plan. What in God's name is going on? Now, maybe, but it doesn't. This is failing in massive amounts of cases. This is failing across the board. That is a systemic, to use the phrase of the day. That is systemic problem in the public school system. Why have you heard any plan, Sharon? Have you heard any plan? Um, that's why there's a small homeschooling population. It doesn't work from homeschooling small. Homeschooling's not small, Lauren. There's not a small homeschooling population. There's a very, very large homeschooling population. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I hope all kids are required to return to school next year. But if you've got the numbers increasing like this, Heather, I mean, is that a good thing? I don't know. I don't know. Someone at home has to make the kids sit down and stay there and stay on track. Look, with more parents doing work from home, with more remote learning and more remote working, it shouldn't be, but it is a dismal failure. And maybe some of that's on the parents. I'm not taking responsibility of the parents. But a large portion of it falls on the public school system, which stinks. It stinks on ice. And they do not have a plan. They have zero plan. I think numbers compared to public school is small. But those homeschooling families that I know do not use the county school system. Yeah. And that, what would be the point of that? I mean, what is your point with that, Lauren? I don't know if they choose a private school. There's some that use private schools, some that do homeschooling. Homeschooling and private school is different. But parents who went to homeschool are dedicated to their children's education. Yeah. And I get it. Some folks don't think, oh, well, I've got to work. I can't do it. The county can't handle it. The county can't handle it. That's my point. The county cannot handle it. And it's not just the county. It's the public school system in general. I don't care where you're at. I don't care what county you're in. They are incapable. This seems to be one of those things like, okay, we've got an issue. This thing's going on longer than we expected. So we have a problem with it. We see a problem with virtual school. Let's come up with a plan to make it work. Because we know that, listen, we don't know when this is going to end. We don't know if it's going to come up again. So let's come up with a viable plan. And they have not. It's just dumb. It shows a lack of intelligence. I know they're run by the government. That's exactly the issue. But you've got local well-meaning people on the school boards. It's time to open up a can. You got me? It's time to open up a can on the school boards and say, what are you doing? What is your plan to make it work? It's not all on the parents, but you also have some parents. Yeah, no, well, we have lunch programs for that. No, but they don't care if their kids get COVID either. You understand this, right, Elizabeth? If they're doing drugs and playing video games and they're not feeding their kids, they don't care if their kids get COVID. They don't care. So they send them to school. Parents don't want to be parents nowadays. They'd rather be friends with their kids. Okay? Not an untrue statement, but the school system doesn't want to teach kids. They want the money. They're not interested in teaching kids. If they did, your kids would know history and math. They don't. Your kids would know how to read. They don't. The school system is not interested in teaching the kids. The school system is interested in the money. Butts and seats brings them money. The Bay County Sheriff's Office announced 38 arrests made during Operation Watchdog, which targeted sex offenders and those committing child porn crimes. Bay County Sheriff Tommy Ford said Monday that the week-long undercover operation targeted registered sex offenders and predators, those traveling to procure sex from a minor, and those in possession of child porn. It took place from February 1st through the 5th. And during these times of COVID, children are spending more time than ever online. That's according to Sheriff Tommy Ford. It's vitally important that we remain increasingly vigilant and monitor the online activities of those that stalk our children online. That's your good news, Heather. They arrested and put these dogs in prison. Drugs and video games. They could go together. Yeah. The school system wants money, and the union wants control. Now the county elected a Democrat for our school board. And it's not just Democrats. It's not just Democrats. The school situation gets to the point the feds move in. I don't know. But you would think that there's some individual, one individual, that could go, you know what? I've got the solution to virtual learning suckiness, to cure the suckiness of virtual learning. And they have zero answers. Zero. If your kids play Animal Crossing, you need to watch those chat logs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're trying to pick them up. After the little kiddos. A woman was taken to the hospital following a beating by her boyfriend on Super Bowl Sunday. You know why? She tried to change the channel in the middle of the Super Bowl. We had to find out what the score was on the Puppy Bowl. Deputies say the argument began after the victim changed the television channel. Thomas White caused several injuries to the woman, including cuts on her face and chin, a bloody nose, a swollen wrist, and hand. Deputies also found several blood droplets on the ground and on the wall. That is a weird random statement. Right? When White was questioned about the incident, he said he punched the woman in self-defense. He could not recall how many times he hit her. White has a previous felony conviction for battery on a pregnant victim. That's according to a report. He was arrested at 8:30 p.m. and charged with felony battery. He didn't get to see the rest of the Super Bowl. He lost the whole thing because she changed the channel. So Mary says she's moving her kids to virtual because she doesn't care about her kids' education. I'm just kidding, Mary. Why are you doing that? Why are you moving them to virtual? It's a good question. What is your purpose in that, Mary? Investigators say someone took over a computer that controls the city of Oldsmar water system and tried to poison the water supply. The FBI, Secret Service, and Pinellas deputies are now looking into the case. Sheriff Bob Galtieri said someone first hacked the system around 8 a.m. on Friday. The plant operator at first didn't think anything of it at the time because his supervisors use remote access to get into the system all the time. But when it happened again later that afternoon, the operator noticed the hacker pushed the sodium hydroxide mixture to a toxic level. The operator immediately pushed the level of that chemical, also known as lye, back down. Senator Marco Rubio tweeted he's considering this a breach of national security. Well, when you're trying to mass poison people, yeah. While the FBI tracks down leads on a suspect, cyber expert Eric Cole says it's not likely this was done by an agent of another government. A lot of this is more just an annoyance, said Cole, but it's a good wake-up call because if it could happen to a local municipality, it can happen to a larger grid across the country. Now, it is connected to the internet so that fix-it crews can log in legitimately and fix and make adjustments. But that's pretty scary. Roger says, Superintendent of Santa Rosa County Schools, Dr. Karen Barber, says in the high schools, they're opened additional areas of, right. One-way traffic, filters, blah, 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 blah. But what are you doing to fix the virtual? And the answer is they've done zero. Isn't too late to switch. Yeah, that water hacking thing is frightening because you think, whoa, man, you don't know. You don't know. 850-771-0049. 28-year-old Louise traveled to Ghana in October. That's in Africa. Using a fake negative COVID-19 test certificate. The documentation some countries require to prove that you don't have the virus and are fit to fly before you leave. Ghana is one of those countries, and Louise says she needed to travel there for work and couldn't afford the cost of the test. The cost is between £100 and £300, so she looked into getting a fake certificate. I just asked people I knew who do Photoshop. I asked my friends to see their COVID test just to get a structure of what the certificate looks like, and then had someone make one up for me. Buying or even attempted to buy a forged certificate is a crime in the UK, and using a forged certificate to travel is fraud by false representation. If you're caught selling a fake certificate in the UK, you might face a prison sentence. Currently, it's the responsibility of airlines to check the passengers have a negative test result, which, by the way, they look at less than 10 seconds. They just didn't want to pay $150 for a private test, so she says she's in the business of it now, and she sells them for $50. Yeah. She is a doctor. Yes, Dr. Karen Barber. I don't care. Come up with a plan. One-way traffic in the hallways, filters, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Wipe stuff down, which we know doesn't transfer on surfaces, doctor. However, why don't we come up with a plan to make what you're doing work? Look, hey, I want to throw this out there. The schools are using taxpayer money, lots of it. They're using lots of it, of the taxpayer money, on this virtual stuff for internet and all the setup, and you know what I'm saying. And if they don't make it work, they're wasting your money. Not like they don't anyway, but Milton City Council meeting tonight at 5:30. Are we talking about? We're talking about lights tonight, aren't we? The camera lights. What is it? Like red light cameras. There you go. That'll be interesting. So you can make a fake certificate. You risk imprisonment, but it's less. William Lawler, who lives in Escambia County, says he searched online for weeks to find an appointment with no luck on getting a vaccine. I don't buy that. I don't agree with that. But he said he searched for weeks to find an appointment for a vaccine with no luck. He's also registered with the state, who called him last week to book an appointment. But he had to drive over 3 hours away to Port St. Joe to get it. So he drove to 3 hours to Port St. Joe. Now, to get the second dose, he has to go back to Port St. Joe. Are you that eager? Are you that eager for a vaccine? You can't go, nah, I'll wait till it comes to Walmart. I'll get it from Publix. I don't know. Yep. Red light cameras tonight is what they're going to be talking about. One of the things. Jeff says, I thought with the socialized medicine, everything was paid for free. So why 100 plus pounds for a COVID certificate? Because they can make money. How can you boycott yourself? That's a good question. 850-771-0049. A man was shot and killed Friday night in Nashville, Tennessee after pulling out a knife during a robbery prank intended for YouTube. Those YouTube pranks are hilarious. Officers were called to a parking lot of Urban Air Trampoline and Adventure Park around 9:20 p.m. Police said the victim, Timothy Wilkes, 20, and his friend pulled out butcher knives and approached a group of people. One person in the group has reportedly identified as David Starnes Jr., 23. Starnes told police he was unaware of the prank and shot Wilkes in self-defense. But it was hilarious. Mercy. People are dumb. Facebook announced Monday a major clampdown on the spread of what the tech giant considers to be false claims about COVID-19 and vaccines. Now, moving forward, the company will be removing from its platform any misinformation regarding the coronavirus and vaccines, including claims that the virus was manufactured in a lab, that vaccines are not effective at preventing disease, that it's safer to get the disease than the vaccine, and that vaccines in general are toxic, dangerous, or cause autism. What about Bell's palsy? What about that? In addition to sharing reliable information, we're expanding our efforts to remove false claims on Facebook and Instagram about COVID-19, COVID-19 vaccines, and vaccines in general during the pandemic. The company's head of health, who's got a very Kang-Zing gene, who said in the newsroom update today, following the consultations with leading health organizations, including the WHO, we're expanding the list of false claims we will remove to include additional debunked claims about COVID-19 and vaccines. The exhaustive list of false claims that are now subject to removal are listed on Facebook's Help Center webpage. It broadly includes any content that downplays the severity of COVID-19 or discourages good health practices such as wearing a mask. You're going to be removed. If you say anything about not wearing a mask, you're out of here. If you say the vaccine doesn't work, you're out of here. If it causes death, you're out. It's being wiped out. You can't say that. We're dealing with science, people, that changes on a daily basis. Relax, people. Facebook is taking care of COVID and vaccine misinformation. They're all-knowing, all-wise health expert. Company's head of health. I want to know what his credentials are. Kang-Zing Jin. I want to know what Kang's qualifications are. So you can't talk about you can't talk about the election. You can't talk about COVID or not wearing mask or the vaccine. You can't talk about any of that. You're being erased. No, you can't say it started in a lab. That is misinformation, John. Misinformation. Well, they don't care. You've got nowhere else to go, Sharon. Yeah, I know. You got to be careful, Roger. But that's what they're doing. They're taking care of it. They're going to handle it. It's okay. Relax. They noted that content monitoring regarding the coronavirus pandemic has been going on since December. Only now the list of false claims has expanded. So basically, it's conservative viewpoints that they are. There you go. Well, but they don't have the reach or the impact. Does that make sense? I would rather that they would combine together and form a good one, because I don't have the ability to do video on those. You see what I'm saying? I know they need to grow quickly. They need to grow quickly and condense so that it is like Facebook, where it is a given. Sunday Super Bowl, which saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers shock the defending champs from Kansas City. The Washington Post ran an op-ed that has a problem with the Bucs pirate imagery. The writer, Jamie Goodall, a staff historian at the U.S. Army Center of Military History, argued that while this celebration of piracy seems like innocent fun and pride in a local culture, there is danger in romanticizing ruthless cutthroats who created a crisis in world trade when they captured and plundered thousands of ships on Atlantic trade routes between the Americas, Africa, and Great Britain. I want all those woke people to go back to sleep. I want all the woke people, close your eyes, drink some warm milk, put on some white noise, some waves, some birds, listen to that and go to sleep. Goodall went on to say that treating pirate imagery as no big deal takes these murderous thieves who did terrible things like locking women and children in a burning church and makes them a symbol of freedom and adventure, erasing their wicked deeds from historical memory. Well, I thought that's what you guys do. I thought that's what the left does. They erase things from historical memory, which is what he wants to do by getting rid of. You see, he's doing what he's claiming that they do. He's saying that they want to erase what they do by romanticizing it. They want to erase what they do just by erasing what they do. I am too, Corey. It is driving me crazy. Getting rid of the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers. Why? Because they're cutthroats. Does anybody remember the pirate movie? It's based on the Pirates of Penzance. It's got Christy McNichol in it from the 80s. They said, let's go rape and plunder. And she says, oh, I hate to be plundered. Sorry. 850-771-0049. We got tons of video here today. It's a good thing that Joe Biden was 2,000 miles away. Biden had an awkward moment Monday afternoon during a press conference with a healthcare workers in Arizona when he stopped to compliment one nurse for her youthful appearance. Joe Biden is the weirdest dude ever. Check this out.
So since we are doing the Pfizer vaccine, it is 16 and over, but the 16 and over has to be, the appointment needs to be made.
So she's talking about the vaccine, and they're asking, look, they're so concerned, Biden and Harris. Well, continue.
For a walk-in, it does have to be 18 or older due to them just being minors.
Gotcha. And what do you hear from the folks coming through that get the vaccine, that actually you get the shot in their arm? What are the kind of things you most often hear from them or your volunteers?
They're amazed. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. They're amazed by the process, the smoothness. I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of other touching stories, that people have gone through due to COVID, and they're here, and really we're
a dose of hope.
A dose of hope is what I've been calling it. I've heard, but the smoothness of the process is what I hear most.
Last question I have: How can we best support you and other frontline workers?
So the collaboration that I have with FEMA, all the other state, everybody that I've partnered with here, I get nothing but the utmost support. And it's been amazing to collaborate with everybody. They check in. If I need something, it's done. They know that I'm trying to do everything to make this safe. And
All right, now it takes a creepy turn. All right.
Well,
support. Yeah.
are you a freshman at the university?
No.
I'm teasing. You look like a freshman.
Did you see Kamala's face? She's like, "What just happened? What just happened? Are you a freshman at the university?" It's creepy. Uncle Joe is creepy, and are you a freshman at the university? You look like a freshman. Wow. Creep factor is immense. All right, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki sparred with Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy because he's the only one that asks any hard questions. And this, he pressed her to address the expected job losses stemming from President Biden's executive action to cancel the Keystone Pipeline. Here is that exchange. Check this out.
On both of the first on energy, when is it that the Biden administration is going to let the thousands of fossil fuel industry workers, whether it's pipeline workers or construction workers, who are either out of work or will soon be out of work because of a Biden EO, when it is and where it is that they can go for their green job? And that is something that...
So you see the smile. She's completely uncomfortable. He said they've been laid off. These people have been laid off from the Keystone Pipeline. They lost their jobs. Where are the green energy jobs that were promised? And we continue.
There is now a gap. So I'm just curious when that happens, when those people can count on that.
Well, I'd certainly welcome you to present your data of all the thousands and thousands of people who won't be getting a green job. Maybe next time you're here, you can present that.
But you said that they would be getting green jobs, so I'm just asking when that happens. Richard Trumka, who is a friend, longtime friend of Joe Biden, says about that day one Keystone EO, he says, I wish he, the president, had paired that more carefully with the thing that he did second by saying, here's where we are creating the jobs. So there's partial evidence from Richard Trumka.
Well, you didn't include all of his interview. Would you like to include the rest?
So how about this? The Laborers International Union of North America said the Keystone decision will cost 1,000 existing union jobs and 10,000 projected construction jobs.
Well, what Mr. Trumka also indicated in the same interview was that President Biden has proposed a climate plan with transformative investments in infrastructure and laid out a plan that will not only create millions of good union jobs, but also help tackle the climate crisis. And as the president has indicated when he gave his primetime address to talk about the American Rescue Plan, he talked about his plans to also put forward a jobs plan in the weeks or months following. And he has every plan to do exactly that.
But there are people living paycheck to paycheck. There are now people out of jobs once the Keystone Pipeline stopped construction. It's been 12 days since Gina McCarthy and John Kerry were here, and it's been 19 days since that EO. So what are these people who need money now? When do they get their green job?
Well, the president and many Democrats and Republicans.
So he says there are people without a paycheck now. What are they supposed to do while they're waiting on a green job?
That investment in infrastructure, building infrastructure, that's international interests, and that boosts the U.S. economy, creates good-paying union jobs here in America.
Doesn't answer when.
Doesn't answer when. Energy goals are something that we can certainly work on doing together, and he has every plan to share more about his details of that plan in the weeks ahead.
And then just a quick.
Okay, so she didn't answer the question. She has no answer. My question is, why did the pipeline have to stop on day one? Anybody? Why did the pipeline have to stop on day one? Why didn't he say, we're going to phase out the pipeline as we get these new jobs running so we can transfer? These people don't have to be without a job. No. He had the virtue signal. We got to close that pipeline and put thousands of people out of jobs and kill a bunch of jobs rather than say we're going to phase this out He shut it down right now. You're without a job today. For green new jobs in the future, for new green jobs down the line, maybe 10 years down the line. And she has no answer because she knows there isn't. And you could see the look on her face. That question bothered her. They do not like Peter Doocy because he does ask legitimate questions. God bless him. I'm glad someone asked a question because nobody else is going to ask a hard question for sure. President Biden indicated Monday that his administration's on track to surpass its goal of administering 100 million vaccine doses during his first 100 days in office. Biden provided the update as he and Vice President Kamala Harris spoke to Arizona healthcare officials during a virtual tour of the vaccination site at State Farm Stadium in Glendale. The president jabbed at the Trump administration's handling of campaign's logistics, but asserted that the country was on track to considerably surpass Biden's 100 million target. The U.S. was already on the way toward reaching the original 100 million shots before Biden took office. Biden also said the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell called him prior to the Super Bowl to reiterate his offer that the league's stadiums serve as vaccination hubs. When we were short on vaccines and short on organization, Biden said, when we got sworn in, we committed to doing 100 million vaccinations in the first 100 days. We're exceeding that. With the grace of God, the goodwill of the neighbors, and help from people like you, we're going to end up doing more than that. So you tell me what you did. So tell me, Mr. Phoebe, President Phoebe, what did you do exactly? Share with us what was done that caused you in 15 days to go from being sucky at it to being crazy good at it. I want to know exactly what you did. So dumb. Oh. House Democrats chose the dumbest of all impeachment articles to bring against former President Donald Trump. That's according to Trey Gowdy. With the Senate trial set to begin today, Democrats are preparing the case against former president on a single article, incitement of insurrection. Their focus will be less on convincing their Republican Senate colleagues and more on swaying the court of public opinion. I think the Democrats, in their haste to impeach this president for the second time, picked the weakest of their arguments. Yeah. It's going to be, they're not going to win. They're not going to impeach him. It's just about public opinion. And by the way, Trump's approval is still very, very good. It's over 50%. It's over 50%. David Hogg. He's a gun control activist and announced a new member of the advisory board for his pillow company meant to compete with Mike Lindell's My Pillow empire. But the critics responded with mockery and laughter on social media. Hogg announced Thursday that he would start a pillow company in order to give those on the left an alternative to My Pillow offering by Mike Lindell. On Monday, he announced the first hire for his pillow company, LGBTQ activist Brandon Wolf. I'm thrilled to announce the addition of Brandon Wolf to the pillow company's activist advisory board. The pillow company's activist advisory board. Brandon has years of experience in organizing for gun violence prevention, LGBTQ rights, and he's also just an awesome person, tweeted Hogg. Critics of Hogg and his gun control activism took to Twitter to mock him for hiring another activist for a business meant to produce a profit. I honestly believe that if I gave my 10-year-old a little seed money, he'd be far more competent at making and selling pillows or anything else than Hogg and his band of merry men. That's Pradeep Shankar from NRO. Matt Walsh said, will your pillow business involve at any point the sale and manufacture of actual pillows? It's like they really believe they can run a business based entirely on virtue signal. Let's see if that works out. That's a social media commentator. And then another critic said, this was already a Portlandia episode. That was already a Portlandia episode. David Hogg, it's not about running a business. It's activism. It's just activism. All right. So the government analysis of the proposal from Democrats to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour says that it would cost the economy 1.4 million jobs if implemented. The startling analysis was released Monday by the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. The jobs would be cumulatively over 4 years because the proposal would gradually raise the minimum wage from $7.25 to more than twice that amount by 2025. Reports said 17 million workers whose wages would be otherwise below the $15 per hour would be directly affected. Many of the 10 million workers whose wages would otherwise be slightly above that wage would also be affected. Here is from Yahoo. This is from Yahoo. Check this out. This is the weirdest.
Let's bring in Jessica Smith, who is tracking this for us in DC. And Jess, this report just released at the top of the hour right now. We should point out a $54 billion is cumulative deficit over the next 10 years.
Exactly. And this report also found that 1.4 million jobs will be lost by 2025 when the minimum wage actually goes up to $15 an hour. That's a little bit more than what the CBO predicted last time. The CBO also says that raising the minimum wage would lift 900,000 people out of poverty. That number is a little bit lower than the previous report. 17 million people would see their wages go up, according to this report. And as you mentioned, the deficit would grow by $54 billion over the course of 10 years. This report is assuming that this bill, the Raise the Wage Act, does go into effect at the end of March. So that's the timeline that they're looking at as they're considering all of these things. The CBO also says that federal revenues would rise, but federal spending would also increase as the cost of goods and services rise as well. So this is something that lawmakers have been hoping to look at, and Democratic lawmakers and supporters of a wage boost have been hoping that this would bolster their case for including this in a COVID relief package. So we'll be looking to see reaction from lawmakers, what they think about this report and how it impacts these relief negotiations going forward.
It's a bullet to the head for the economy. It's a bullet to the head. They have no clue what they're doing. Democrats have no idea how businesses are run. Do you understand that? We're just going to give more people more money. We're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I want to throw this out. You let the market decide. Because I want to throw this out to you because it's very important that a lot of businesses were paying their employees a starting minimum wage of $15 an hour. Why? Because they wanted to get good help. Because there were so many jobs out there, they couldn't hire people. And so that they were upping their salaries, their hourly wage, to get good help. Because they could go down the street to Joe Blow's place and get the same or more. So you had to boost yours because so many people had jobs. The unemployment rate was so low. That, my friends, is what drives up wages, not government mandating a crippling wage. This will kill small business. It will cost jobs. Your Happy Meal now will go to probably $10. The value meal at McDonald's, let's say, is $8 or more, $8.50. Your value meal now is going to probably go to $12. And that is the honest truth of it. Your milk, your potato chips, all those things you get from the grocery store, all goes up. The value of your dollar goes down even further. Why? because the government is going to mandate $15 an hour. Think about it. Think about that. That's what this administration is bringing us. Democrats reiterated Monday that they reiterated the threat Monday to punish former President Donald Trump for not testifying at the impeachment trial in the Senate, which begins today. In a short filing responding to Trump's lawyer's 75-page trial memorandum, the House impeachment managers, all Democrats handpicked by Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, wrote, "The House has invited President Trump to voluntarily testify under oath. Yet President Trump immediately rejected the opportunity to tell his story. The House will establish at trial that this decision to avoid testifying supports a strong adverse inference regarding President Trump's actions and inaction on January 6th. The Democrats were responding to Trump's lawyers' claims that Democrats rushed impeachment, which defied all previous procedural conventions governing impeachment in the House, and denied the president the constitutional due process of law. So they're threatening him, saying, oh, well, that just speaks to your guilt. If you're not going to talk about it, it speaks to your guilt. We'll have to just kind of take that into consideration. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution provides that no person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Impeachment trial is not a criminal case. When Rep. Jamie Raskin wrote to Trump's lawyers last week, he made a similar threat. If you decline this invitation, we reserve any and all rights, including the right to establish at trial your refusal to testify supports a strong adverse inference regarding your actions. Jonathan Turley, a constitutional scholar, said, is threatening to overturn centuries of progress and jurisprudence establishing that a defendant has the right to testify against himself or herself, and that the exertion of that right does not create negative inference about his or her guilt. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't. And it's true what they do. You are guilty until you prove yourself innocent. Yep. Look, kids, impeachment trial starts today. It's bogus. It's all bogus. It's political theater. I'm going to tell you, the Democrats are dangerous. They're venomous. They're poisonous, and they are out for blood. They're all in violation of their oaths of office. Absolutely. They got power. They don't care about that. Watch your backs. Facebook is handling the COVID misinformation, vaccine misinformation. Don't worry about that. They'll take care of it. They're going to delete and wipe out any misinformation. You can't speak out against what you thought was misinformation about the election, coronavirus, Black Lives Matter. You can't speak out against any of it. They're going to sanitize it for you. It's okay. All right, boys and girls, we'll see you again maybe tomorrow. If I mention Facebook, they usually take me off. So, but tomorrow is another day. God bless you. Stay strong. Have a good day.